Let's talk about monk mode. Imagine you're at the bottom of a mountain and there's a long uphill steep climb in front of you to reach this red flag, which we'll just say is your goal. It's your 10-year vision. Now there are a lot of different paths you can take to get to this goal, but the fastest path is the straightest path from where you are to that particular goal. And that is what I call the monk mode. Imagine you are a person who's going up this hill to get to the top of the mountain. How do you get there in the fastest way possible without taking any detours? How do you not let your vices hold you back and make your journey 100 times, 200 times, or 1,000 times more difficult? How do you even craft a 10-year vision? And what are the non-negotiables that you need to live your life by in order to have a life filled with purpose and joy and success? We're going to break this down and I'm going to give you all the specific tools and the frameworks to think this through. These are the tools that have allowed me to build a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers, to have generated millions of dollars, to in the last 6 months going from being a couch potato to running a marathon, to going from never having learned Muay Thai or kickboxing to 100 days later actually going in for my first official fight. This video would be very helpful for me, and so I'm making this for you and also for myself so that I could always look at this later and come back and have a clear vision and a clear plan of how do I craft the life of my dreams. First important concept I want to introduce you to is the concept I call the other way is death. Now, Dan Koh also talks about this concept and he calls it anti-vision. But let me explain to you a little bit more about this and why this is so important for you to understand. You have to know that you've reached your limit of tolerance and you can't tolerate anymore. That is what will first of all propel you to move in the direction of what you do want. So say you are on a path and you're on a crossroads where one way you know is death, aka depression, vices, drugs, alcohol, things that will kill your health, things that will ruin your life. That one way is death. For example, for me, 6 months ago, I was getting fat, I was getting depressed, I was getting lazy, even though I had more money than I knew what to do with, and I just had more freedom than I knew what to do with, and I was getting extremely unhappy and depressed because I wasn't living a life of purpose. And so I knew for a fact if I kept going that way was death. And the other way was unknown. Whatever it may be, it was unknown. But I knew that guaranteed one way is death. So I can't go that way. I have to go the other way. And so that's the crossroads at times in your life you have to come to. And you have to realize one way will lead me to the death of my visions, to the death of my higher self. The other way will lead me to my purpose, to fulfillment, or maybe something else. It's the unknown. And so at the very least, you can avoid the death and you can go and head in the way of the unknown, because that's the route that now we have to discover. That same the other way is death approach allowed me to change my business model, because one of my business models was not profitable, not bringing in revenue for me, and was just killing my business as well. And so that forced me to change everything. Develop this mentality of the other way is death. Know the opposite of your vision. Know what you don't want. That is something that's extremely important, and you need to develop that. Now, let's go into the next thing, which is the concept of no vices. So vices are basically anything that is quote unquote bad for you. The technical definition I came up with of vices in this case is anything that has poor second order consequences, meaning it's good for you at the start but bad for you later. Things like watching porn. It gives you dopamine now, but it ruins your relationships, your sexual drive, and your willingness to compete as a man or a woman. Alcohol. It makes you feel good temporarily and allows you to be comfortable in social environments, but long term it's damaging your ability to communicate with people. It's damaging your skills of communicating with really any type of person and controlling your own energy and your own flow state. You know, watching too much Netflix is another example of a vice, or poor friends or poor mental hygiene. All of these are example of a vice. And now you could go really far with this. Notifications, or you could even see caffeine as a vice because it temporarily boosts up your energy, but it masks the fact that you might actually be tired, not allowing you to work on your sleeping hygiene. All of these things, I put them in the vice category. Here's how I want you to visualize vices. So let's look at the Greek god Sisyphus in Greek mythology. This is a dude that Zeus punishes and forces him to move this giant boulder up a mountain for eternity. And he's forever doomed with that fate. That's how I want you to visualize vices. So imagine you at the bottom of a mountain and you trying to reach that red flag. You're trying to reach that goal post. That's your 10-year vision, or maybe your life's purpose. Now imagine you're going there, but except this time you're pushing up this massive boulder up the mountain with you. Those are the vices that you are carrying with you that are slowing you down towards your journey of achieving your dreams and achieving your goals. Another way you could visualize this is a backpack, and every single vice, every single thing that has a poor second order consequence is actually a physical object that you're making your bag heavier with. You're filling your backpack up with heavy rocks you have to carry, and you have to carry this weight with you. So if you have alcohol problems, or you have drug problems, or you're addicted to pornography, or you're addicted to screen sucking, if you're addicted to these things, what you're doing is you're making your journey a lot harder. You're carrying all this weight with you. Now imagine you start getting rid of these things. So maybe you start watching pornography. Now the boulder or that backpack that you're carrying is lighter. You stop wasting your time on social media every single day. Now that backpack is even lighter. And you turn off the notifications on your phone. Now the backpack gets even lighter. Now imagine all those friends that don't believe in you and aren't helping you and want to just hold you back and keep you, they're like, we liked you when you were chubby. We liked you more when you were broke. If you have those types of friends, you might realize you have to let them go so that you could make that 10-year journey or your life's mission. Now, I don't know what your vices are. I'll tell you about my vices. For example, caffeine. Caffeine was really hard to give because caffeine is not just coffee. That's also energy drinks, yerba mate, any type of tea that might have any level of caffeine in it. So, I completely gave up. Even decaffeinated caffeine, by the way, has caffeine. So I gave up even that. And that was something really important to me. And I used to drink caffeine every single day or coffee every single day. So giving that up was really, really hard. But the reason why I gave that up is because I didn't want to mask. If I had poor sleeping hygiene, then I didn't want caffeine to mask that. I wanted to identify that. And without having caffeine, I felt it in my body when I had bad sleep. So the way to fix it was I started getting good sleep. I started integrating naps into my day. So now I'm naturally getting good energy, which long term will be very beneficial for me if I'm imagining my life on this mountain in a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, 50-year time span. Porn was something I gave up about 8 weeks ago. That was something I had thought was completely normal to watch, and I was introduced to it at a very young age of about 9 years old. Ever since then, I just thought it was completely normal. And then I started realizing over the last few months that it's not really normal and not everybody watches it. And another thing I realized was it was disconnecting me from my partner. What I did is I just completely gave up porn. And I told myself, if I ever have the need to be intimate or a need to fulfill my desires as a human being, I should do that with my girlfriend, whether it's through text or call or in person, because right now I'm in Colombia, so I'm in a different country from her. If I ever have the need, first of all, I just channel it into my goals and my purpose. But if I do still feel the need, I'd rather do it with my girlfriend, where now I have a better relationship with her. I'm more connected with her. That actually had a huge benefit to my life. And so that was something I gave up 8 weeks ago. I don't plan to ever go back. And that was one of my last big vices that I had to let go of. There's still other vices that I'm going to work on, which are, I still will look at social media in the mornings. I will still have poor hygiene with my phone, but that's kind of one of the last remaining obvious ones that I'm working on. And that will propel your life forward really fast. That's what's been happening in my life. It's propelling my life forward. Just not having these vices actually is a huge accelerator in my journey up at the top, because I'm not carrying all this weight. I'm not having to push this huge boulder up a mountain as I go towards my mission and my vision. Now, on this concept of no vices, let's go a little bit deeper and let's talk about something very powerful. This is a concept I called retrain the algorithm to avoid traps and optimize focus. Now, as we get into this, I just want to preface it with willpower is extremely limited. So if you rely your whole life on willpower, you're going to have a very difficult life. For example, let's say you want to be a faithful man. The way you can jeopardize your willpower here is every single day, just go to a strip club, or every single day, go to a Dan Bilzerian party and just have 100 models around you that are almost naked every single day. When that happens, as Kendrick Lamar says, even a faithful man in a room full of hoes, it becomes very difficult. Now you're exercising your willpower. You could still do it. It's just very difficult. And there's no real reason to do that. So that's the concept of willpower. And the same thing applies for your work. If you have unoptimized environment, you're going to get into the same thing. So let's get into this. And there's two algorithms that we need to fix. One is a social media algorithm, and then one is your physical environment algorithm. So first, let's talk about the social media algorithm and how you optimize that to avoid traps and optimize your focus. What I would want you to do, and this is what I've done, is you can retrain the algorithm on your Instagram, YouTube, wherever. And how you can do that is just spend a couple of days watching a lot of content that is genuinely valuable. So watching videos of people lifting, if that's one of your goals, watching videos of people doing exercises, watching videos of people talking about business. And so you're constantly training the algorithm that I'm clicking this type of content, I'm watching this type of content. So then the algorithm will serve you more and more of that. Then every time you see a thirst trap or models or anything that detracts your focus, hit not interested on that. Hit don't show me this, don't recommend this channel to me. Constantly keep doing that. Mute people's posts and stories where it's not serving you. Unfollow everything else. And so if you spend 2 to 3 days doing this, your algorithm on YouTube, Instagram will be much more trained to automatically serve you the things that you would want to see. I want to also give you a tool. On my YouTube, on the computer, every time I would go, I would see all these videos pop up. Anytime I went on YouTube, I would get so excited and I would click on one of the videos in my home feed. And so I downloaded this Chrome extension. It's called YouTube Distraction or Distraction Free YouTube. It's call something along those lines. And what it does is as soon as you go on your YouTube homepage, it just shows a blank homepage. Then I only see the videos I genuinely want to see. I will manually search for them. Otherwise, I will not see anything automatically pop up that makes me excited, it gives me a dopamine hit, and then makes me go, I want to watch this right now. Second thing we have, the algorithm that runs your physical life, your physical environment. Okay, so let's talk about that algorithm now and how you could use that to avoid traps and optimize focus. Willpower is finite. We want to remove the choice. So for example, in your own environment, fill it up with healthy food so that you don't even have a choice to eat junk food. In your workspace, avoid and minimize distractions. Can you have your phone on do not disturb when you go to work? Can you have books around you so that when you're bored, you want to kind of pick up a book and read? Can you have your environment be clean so you're not thinking about how dirty things are and how you have to clean next? So that's an example of how you can optimize your physical environment. I have cookies that have protein in them, and I have chips that have protein in them. And so my environment is so optimized that even when I want to be unhealthy and eat snacks, I'm getting a high protein diet, which is aiding in building my muscles, which is lowering my chance of disease and increasing my physique, my health, and making me stronger, and helping reverse my aging process. And I've thought of this already. Now, the next part that I want to talk about now is start heading towards what we do want. And this is very important. We had to first get away from what we didn't want. Now we can start to go towards what we want. Now our windshield is getting clearer. We could see, and now we can decide where we want to go. Okay, now let's talk about living a life of purpose and fulfillment and how we do that. This is something I found for myself. So take it or leave it. I hope that it brings you value too, and it's something you could use in your life. What I'm about to share with you was the key thing that really turned my life around and allowed me to run marathon and then train Muay Thai and get ready for my Muay Thai fight and also start crushing it a lot more in business. And this is what I called my 2 non-negotiable pillars of fulfillment. And just to give you context, here's what I realized. I was sitting down one day and I said, in order for me to be happy at night when I'm sleeping and feel peaceful, joyful, fulfilled throughout the day, what do I need to do to feel fulfilled and joyful and happy in that one day? And I realized that it was just 2 things. One, it was I needed to do hard physical work, something that was difficult to do physically, whether it was running really hard or fighting really hard or lifting really hard, something that physically tired me out and tamed my inner beast. The second thing I realized was I needed to do hard mental work. So staying focused on something, working on content all day, whatever it was, something where I worked mentally tremendously hard for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. And if I just did those 2 things, hard physical work and hard mental work, I would hit the bed and I would fall asleep happy. And I realized, man, if I just think about that day and I'm happy, well, if I expand that out to my life and my life is just filled with those types of days, well, then I'll live a happy life. So now let's go into the hard physical work and talk about specifically what that means and what that looks like. Hard physical work includes two things: nutrition and includes exercise. Exercise is the main one that I want to start off with. Okay, so exercise, I realized it has to be a non-negotiable part of my day. And when I think about a 10-year vision or 10-year plan, and even if I don't have a lot of clarity around that, I go, what is the thing I could be doing for 10 years in the hard physical work realm that I know guaranteed would be the best thing that I would do, and I don't need to renegotiate it with myself, and I never need to change it. And I've come to the fact that it's exercise. Exercising is something I could do almost every single day, and it will produce benefits for me mentally and physically. And so that's something I just need to do. It's a non-negotiable at this point of my life, and I just have 7 days of physical exercise. Even if it's 20 or 30 minutes, it's good to go. So that's a non-negotiable. You could kind of set a goal for it too. So for example, what I did is I said, okay, I know I'm going to be doing physical exercise. What if I decide to take on a challenge? So I took on a Muay Thai challenge. So then I'm not only doing physical training, but I'm doing training for Muay Thai. So what my thing looked like this last 3 months was I had about 12 workouts a week, 3 lifting sessions per week, 4 running sessions per week, and 5 Muay Thai sessions every single week. I've come to realize that's way too overkill. Just pick one thing and stick to it. That's way better. And that's also what allowed me to do my Muay Thai challenge, Muay Thai fight. The last 3 months or 6 months ago, I decided to take on a challenge of a marathon, and I did a marathon in 3 months. And basically I just applied the same principle of just do daily exercise, and I ran pretty much every single day. And before I knew it, I was capable of running a marathon in 12 weeks. And so it is a very powerful concept. Now, whether you attach a goal to it, like a marathon or a half marathon or a Muay Thai fight or a powerlifting competition or not, it's still powerful. Just focus on non-negotiable physical exercise daily. What I recommend, 3 lifting workouts and 4 running workouts every single week. That way you can achieve all of your goals. For my fitness, for my exercise, basically what I did for lifting is I followed Jay Vincent's protocol. If you want to maximize your muscle growth, then you just maximize the time under tension. And so I did these 20-minute lifting sessions that bring maximal results. And basically you do 1 set to failure. That's it on each exercise. And you essentially exhaust each muscle. And so you put up as maximum of weight as you can, where you could do 6-10 reps. And then you just do those reps until you just literally can't do them anymore. And once you're done with that, you move on to something else. So that helped me a lot on the physical side. So something along those lines in terms of lifting and building muscle, and especially as a man, you want to get that lean, muscular physique. And the way to do that is you have to gain muscle. The nutrition part I have to touch base on. If exercise is the guaranteed hard physical work, then nutrition is also part of that hard physical work, because nutrition will determine how you feel, how you look, how you're able to think. If you have ever felt mental fogginess throughout the day, if you've ever felt lack of clarity throughout the day, or mental fogginess, or just you want to sleep and take a nap, oftentimes that has to do with nutrition. If you don't like the way you look, most likely that has to do with nutrition. And so nutrition is something we have to address. Nutrition also impacts your sleep. It also impacts your muscle. And so without proper nutrition, none of what we would do would work. What I recommend is eating a high protein diet. That essentially had a huge impact on my life and changed my life. And my coach, John Sonmez, helped put me on this. And it's a high protein diet. So each day you're eating, somewhere around 180 to like 300 grams of protein per day. A lot of protein. And you could combine intermittent fasting with this as well. And what I like to do now is I call it protein intermittent fasting. So in the mornings you can fast and you can only eat 2 meals a day. So 1 meal at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. But if you wanted to eat something at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. or whatever for breakfast, then you're only allowed to consume that if it's pure protein. You could have a protein shake with just protein powder and water, or you could have chicken and eggs, because that just has protein in it and no carbs. You can eat things like that. And then at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m., you just have some carbs, but now you just eat it still with really high protein. So you just have to make sure that every meal you eat has a ton of protein in it. So your meal should consist of mainly salmon or chicken or steak, beef, turkey. A lot of your meals should be that. And then as part of my diet, what I decided to do is get these Quest lime chips, which my coach John recommended me. If you want to eat ice cream, right, something sweet, you could get these salted, they're called Enlightened. The brand is Enlightened, and it will give you 80 calories with like 8 grams of protein or something, which is absolutely amazing. Quest chips will give you about 20 grams of protein. Quest brownies will give you 15 to 20 grams of protein. You could get these protein bars from Quest that will give you 15 to 20 grams of protein with like low calories calories, like 150 or 200 calories. And so you want all your food to be high in protein and low in calories, so that when you eat your meals and you get in the amount of calories you need each day, 2,000 or 3,000 calories, you have high amounts of protein. So you're building a ton of muscle and you're repairing your body and you're getting stronger every single day. That's on the nutrition side, what I would recommend. And this is something that I've put my friends on, like David, who came with me and started doing this diet, and he went from 205 pounds, so he's about 178 pounds right now. Isaac, who works with me as my video editor, he went from 157 pounds to 138 pounds. My friend Naz started on this one from 200 pounds to about 180 pounds. My friend Frankie, the same thing happened with him, where he went from about 195 pounds to now he's about 168 pounds, like over 20 pounds lost. And pretty much everybody that's getting on this is getting really amazing results. So you have to think about if you're bulking or you're cutting. But if you're like most people, you probably just have excess amount of fat. So you want to just lean down till you can see your six pack. And so I just recommend eat a low amount of calories, 1,500 calories a day for most of you people, to cut, exercise hard, and eat high protein, and you will be feeling amazing. Now let's talk about the hard mental work that would help you. And so for me, the hard mental work that helped me is, hey, can I just focus on my content every single day? If I could just do that, I am happy by the time I'm hitting the bed. But there's other things in hard mental work as well. So there's two different things in hard mental work. You have the focused work, your job or whatever, your career. So there's the career part of the mental work. And then there's the shadow part of the mental work. And so let's start with the career part first. So career part for me is, I know content is my 10-year vision. I know I want to build a Rafik Hazi, especially the personal brand, and I want to get it to over 1 million subscribers. And so that will be a 5 to 10 year long journey to get to 1 million or 10 million subscribers. And what I need to do for that on a daily basis, I just need to focus on doing content for 8 to 10 hours every single day. If I just do that for 10 years, I know I will be crushing it with this brand. In terms of my work, that's the main thing that I need to focus on a daily basis. That's where I focus my efforts every single day, where I'm focusing on content, scripting content, researching content, coming up with ideas, thumbnails and titles, shooting content, whatever it may be. It revolves around content. So that's the focused, aka the career work I know I need to do, and that makes me very, very happy. And then let's go to the shadow work side. So shadow work has to do with taming your inner demon, working with your own monster inside, working with yourself essentially. And so there, things like I do therapy every single week. I have a couples therapy and personal therapist that works with me, which is phenomenal for my emotional regulation, because emotional regulation is one of the most valuable skills that you should be working on. Emotional regulation recently saved me a $200,000 deal that I was going to blow because I was angry, and I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to burn this bridge. And then using emotional regulation and the tools that I picked up in therapy were effective and very helpful. And they just helped me save a $200,000 deal, which was awesome. And then other things like my relationship with the teammates getting better, and my girlfriend. It requires you to work with your inner demons and your problems that you face. And of course, you want to work on your gratitude. Are you grateful for the things that you do have? That perspective is important. I went to religious school for 4 years of my life. It felt like prison from 9 years to 12 years old. And I was beaten up and physically abused and sexually abused. And that was a terrible time of my life. But I look at it as it was a gift, and it made me resilient today. And it was something I felt like I actually needed and helped me. Whereas you could look at it and go, hey, that destroyed my life, and then use that to justify all my limitations. So that was the concept of the two non-negotiable pillars of fulfillment. The easy way to remember is hard physical work and hard mental work. And if you just exercise hard every day, and if you just work on content every day, or whatever that one thing is for you, you should be good, even if you forgot all the other sub points that I had for you there. So now if you do that, you're starting to live a life of fulfillment and purposeful, and every day you will start to feel happy, and you'll start to feel more and more motivated. So by this time, we've gotten rid of our vices. We also are not doing the thing that makes us fat and depressed and destroys our life. Now we've gotten rid of the baggage, and the backpack is light, and we've taken out all the rocks from there. We've gotten rid of all of our vices. Now we have the things that actually help aid us run above towards the vision, 10-year vision faster. Think of these two non-negotiable pillars of fulfillment like the knife that you bring with you to hunt any dangerous creatures that come along the way, or the shoes that you're wearing so that your feet don't break because you're going up this mountain for so long. And so it's your protection, it's your armor, it's the thing that makes you reach your vision a lot faster, because without shoes you would be slow. Without hunting you wouldn't be able to hunt. It's the food that you could put in your backpack that you bring with you, that nourishes you, that helps you reach your goal, that helps you survive every single day. So if you have these two non-negotiable pillars of fulfillment, honestly, I feel like it can even keep you away from situational depression. Because for me, a lot of the times when I would get depressed is when I wouldn't be doing these things that I'm mentioning here. As long as I do these two non-negotiable pillars of fulfillment, hard physical work every day and hard mental work every day, I feel happy and in purpose. You're bringing tools that nourish you on your journey. So think of it like that, this analogy of the man that going up to the top of that mountain. Now, the big piece of this puzzle, let's talk about 10-year vision. You should always think in terms of 10 years. This is something I recently realized and it kind of blew my mind. For a lot of my life, I was never able to think longer than 1 or 2 weeks. Even though I've started my business and had a lot of success with my business, as a 25-year-old, I'm making $1 million. I mean, all that stuff was absolutely insane and crazy, but I couldn't think in a really long-term horizon. I could only think in like, okay, I want to launch this product. Like, let's make a 2-week or 3-week plan and like, let's just execute on it. Or I want to create this video, let's like execute it in 1 week. And so I could do that. But when I did these goals, such as running a marathon, which was incredibly hard, that was 3 months of pure discipline. And I had to do it and I overcame this challenge. And I went from couch potato to running a marathon. Or when I had to do the Muay Thai challenge, where I went from not having fought ever before and doing no training like kickboxing to 3 months of training and I am now fighting somebody. When I did those things, I realized, oh my God, if I think of my life in these 3-month sprints or 3-month challenges, maybe one challenge could be marathon, one could be a Muay Thai, maybe one challenge could be 100 days of me doing jiu-jitsu, wrestling, another one could be boxing. And when I think about it like that, I'm like, well, holy shit, I'm 28 right now. By the time I'm done doing 30 challenges, I'll be 38. So 10 years is just me doing 30 challenges that are each 3 months long. So when you think of it like that and you chunk it down, you're like, 10 years is not long at all, because I'm already done with 2 of the 30 challenges. I only have 28 more. And by the time I do 28 more challenges, I'll be 38. I'll be 10 years older than I am right now. And so that allowed me to start thinking in long term. And I'm like, wait, I could see my life in 10 years now. And so I just thought about it and I'm like, okay, if I look at it at a bottom level, like what makes each day amazing and fulfilled? Well, it's just hard physical work and hard mental work. Okay, then and if I do enough of them, I live a fulfilling life. And so then I realized it doesn't even actually matter what my vision is or if I'm working towards a vision or not. I'll still actually live a very happy life if at the microscopic level I'm doing the right things, because my life will be made up of days where I'm feeling fulfilled. So if I'm even doing something hard, like playing chess really hard every day, or playing, I don't know, some games really hard every day and focusing on improving, over 10 years, I might have some regrets, but I'll still be overall really happy. But now if it's aligned with the vision, that would be just absolutely brilliant. So what could be that vision where each day that I work, I could work towards it? And so what came to my mind is, well, if I want to have my business goals aligned and I want to have goals that fulfill me, well, that is brand. That is content. I want to be doing as much content as possible. I love creating content. I love thinking about content ideas. And when I look at Mr. Beast or Logan Paul or Eric, these guys have created, potentially billion-dollar companies, or will be creating billion-dollar companies. And Mr. Beast certainly has, with just content. And so I'm realizing, okay, the upside potential of this thing that I love is unlimited. And then I also know that I enjoy doing it. And long term, if using that skill, I build 1-2 big brands, that is absolutely amazing. Like 10 years from now, if I just keep maximizing my content skill, I could do a call to action, fill them all up like Mr. Beast. I could start a company that sells products like a burger, like Mr. Beast Burgers, and be doing $100 million a year. I could launch a company that competes with Gatorade, like Prime Energy drink that Logan Paul dropped. And using that, he's on track to build a $100 million or $1 billion company in the long run. And so my options are extremely open. I can think about that and go, that gives me infinite business opportunities in the long run. It gives me the opportunity to meet the most amazing people. Like if I build my personal brand, I could do podcasts and meet Mike Tyson. I could meet the Nelk Boys. I could meet Elon Musk. I could meet all the people that I think are super cool or epic people or interesting people. I could meet Mr. Beast. So my brand also gives me access in the long run to everything that I need, business-wise, connections-wise, money-wise, and then it meets me at my heart level, which is I will achieve this by doing content. So then I realized content is the best decision I could be making of doing every single day. So I don't actually have to negotiate that with myself, and I can just do that over the next 10 years every single day and then achieve something awesome. So now my life is aligned with my 10-year vision. So that's my 10-year vision of, like, let's say I have 10 million subscribers on the personal brand. That would be an amazing mission to be on. And if I could achieve that, oh my God, that's absolutely incredible. And so I hope that using this, you can draw out your own vision. The order that you do it in is the order that I've laid it out in this video for you, which is you start off with the things that you don't want to do. You want to avoid those things and cut them out. So figure out what you don't want. And so the things that made me fat and depressed and lazy and unhappy, I'm going to stop doing them. I'm going to stop, taking certain sponsorships where they give you a lot of money, but you don't align with them. And it's just, besides a money grab, there is nothing to do there. And so I'm going to stop doing those things because they made me fat and lazy and unhappy and not living on a purpose, because I had to do what I call slave work, and that brought me no joy and no fulfillment. I decided to drop all my vices. Once I stopped doing the things that I hated, I dropped my vices, and then I just started living a life of purpose, even if I didn't have clarity, but just on a day-to-day microscopic level. Even if I didn't have the big picture vision, I just knew hard physical work and hard mental work brings me happiness. And then I just focused on that every single day. What is something I could do that's challenging today? Is it playing chess and learning from a grandmaster? Is it exercising really hard today and then working on content? I just started doing that every single day for months. Then the next thing for me, after I did that, I started getting a ton of clarity about what I even wanted, because I had to get rid of all the bad stuff, clean up my windshield wipers. Then I had to do the right things and move in the direction the GPS was telling me. And then at some point I questioned, is the GPS even taking me to the right place? Is my 10-year vision or what I want, am I even going in the right direction, or do I need to change my direction and go somewhere else? And so work in it in steps. It doesn't all happen at once, but that's the process that worked for me. And I hope that that's the process that can work for you. Okay, let's talk about tools. That's one thing we haven't talked about yet in this video. And I want to leave you with tangible, tactical tools, because I know that's the part that a lot of you will really like, because you could use these things starting today. So tool number one is the YouTube no distraction blocker, or distraction for YouTube. It's a Chrome extension. It's free, and it will allow you to block out all the recommended videos on your home feed on YouTube and make YouTube feel like a peaceful place rather than a chaotic place. It always has an amazing recommendation for you. Tool number two is Sunsama. This is a tool I use to plan my work daily. Even this video that I'm doing is planned work that I have. And the way that I use it is I not only create a task, but then I take that task and plop it onto my calendar. It integrates with your calendar as well, so I can visually see what's the next thing I'm working on. It has cleared a lot of my thoughts and made it crystal clear of how I need to work on a daily basis. So I plan my work on a daily basis, and then I do my work. And Sunsama is a great tool that allows you to do that. And you should always have two different thinking modes. One is, and I learned this from my coach John Sonmez as well, from Bulldog Mindset, and he mentions the one should be a planning mode, like CEO/planning mode, and the second one should be your worker mode. So when I'm planning, I'm literally thinking as if I'm handing off these tasks to somebody else. It's not me that's going to do the work. So then I'll plan the best work possible, the most effective work. So it might be like, in this case, shoot monk mode, or sorry, it was script monk mode video. And then the second thing that I had was shoot monk mode video. And so then when I start working on scripting monk mode, I go and I hit the play button and I start working on the script. And then when I'm about to shoot monk mode, I check off the script because I'm done with the script, and then I hit play and it starts that. And once I'm done with that, I hit check mark. It also allows me to bring in any events that I have into my Sunsama as well from my calendar. So I could just hit a button and add the task in if I need to. And I love that I could align each thing to an objective. So for example, this monk mode, my weekly objective is to publish this video monk mode. And so when I create this task of scripting, well, then I can align scripting monk mode video to my objective of publish monk mode for the week. So I align that to the objective. Then when I do my shooting monk mode video task, I align that task with publishing monk mode for my weekly objective. I align that with my weekly objective. If I was working on me or my teammates, because I could actually assign work to my teammates in Sunsama as well. And so if I gave my teammate a task of working on the thumbnail, if we need to work on the thumbnail for monk mode video, well, then we would also align that with my objective of publish monk mode. So you could see how you could create these tasks, align them with the objective, so you could very clearly see what it is you're doing. So tool number three that I have for you is Around. This is a phenomenal tool that I have discovered. This is it's replacing all my video conferences. I was using Zoom and I always hated Zoom, but I never found a better alternative. It just made it feel like work and weird, and I don't know, just not the tool for me, but I just knew it was the most stable and the best one until I found Around. Around is used for video conferencing, but it makes it a lot more fun and productive and effective. The functionality I use in Around all the time is whenever I get on a video call with somebody, I just click notes and they can click notes, and you guys have integrated notes all in one place. So whenever we're coming up with ideas, we write them down in there. If you click more and you hit write everyone's name down, it automatically write everybody's names in the team stand-up. So if this is really useful for my team meetings that I do with my team, and then everybody just writes what they did yesterday, what they're going to do today, and their blockers. And then we just go on mute. And Around also has this feature for putting vibes. So I can choose chill hop music and it starts playing chill hop for everybody on the team. They can also control their own volume. So it gives this very clean, awesome vibe. And then we go on mute and I start a timer for 5 minutes. You can start a timer as well. And then everybody goes on mute. And then we just write what we did yesterday, today, and blockers. And we go through that entire process together. And then everybody comments on everybody else's work that they got done. So everybody's work feels recognized and heard. And all of this takes about 8 minutes, 7 minutes. It's because when you are writing, you can write all at once. Whereas when you're talking, you would have to go through each person and then hear them. And that would take like 50 minutes or an hour or more. But when you are going through and writing it this way, it takes 7 minutes and everybody goes through everybody's thing. So it's much, much more time efficient and effective in my opinion. And then the other thing that I love with this is it integrates with Miro. So that's the next tool I want to talk about. And so Miro is a infinite white space canvas. So just think of like a giant whiteboard where you could write down all your ideas, brainstorm with your team, and strategize. And I never used to use it. I felt it was gimmicky and I'm like, it's cute, but you know, real billionaires use Google Docs or some shit like that, until I started understanding how to use Miro. And then it became genuinely one of the best things I've ever used. And I'm using it even for this video, monk mode. I visualize my script. So I could actually show you how I created the script for this. And so I used mind maps inside of here to visualize how I think about all of these things. So you can see the branches and how they go one into the other. And maybe if you guys comment on the video and you want all the content of this video as a mind map, we could put it as like a link in the description or something like that. You could put your video ideas there. And what I did with the script for this one is I wanted to, because when I'm just in Google Doc, I'm kind of stuck. Everything is linear and that's not how my brain thinks. My brain thinks of different ideas at the same time. And then I want to write them down. And then I want to go deeper into each branch. So when I think of 2 pillars of non-negotiable fulfillment, I just want to leave that there. Then I want to write down another bullet point of 10-year fulfillment or whatever. And then I want to write down the point of no vices. And then when I want to go in deeper into that branch, I could click into that, go deeper into that branch. And another thing I started doing, I started visualizing my scripts. I started using AI tool. So let's add this in as a bonus tool for you. It's called Midjourney. And I started using Midjourney to visualize my script. You could use it to visualize your life if you want. And with Midjourney, I started visualizing my script. So I'm like, okay, when I think of no vices, what do I see? And when I would tell Midjourney of certain things, it would give me back an image of a person or give me back an image of a thing that I could use. When I tell it, hey, give me back an image of somebody who doesn't have any vices, or give me back an image of a man staring at the mirror and seeing the monster made out of his own nightmares in the reflection. It would give me that and I would bring it back into Miro and put it next to my script. Also in Miro, I built my content calendar for the next, few months or whatnot. That has been amazing. And I took inspiration from different people like Iman Ghatzi and some of the other creators that I really like. And so the videos will be my own thumbnails and titles, but sometimes I might have there as a placeholder because I might talk about a topic that is similar to that. And it mostly just helps me visualize kind of what I'm thinking about and what I want to plan my content to be like. And so with Miro, I'm able to do that. Okay, tool number, I don't know, some tool. I'm losing track. Okay, so here's another tool, Airtable, and I'm using that to keep track of a lot of my videos, views that my videos are getting, if my video is in a ready to shoot or if it's in edit queue, putting it there. I know that one might not be too useful for a lot of you, especially if you're not a business owner or something along those lines, but Airtable is a good tool that you could use for your work. So I'll skip over it. Now, the last tool and probably the most important tool is it exists. Everybody has it. It's on your phone. It's free. And this is the tool I call Do Not Disturb mode. My phone is permanently in Do Not Disturb mode. I'm permanently have no notifications because that allows me to focus and stay in my monk mode and keep going towards towards where I want to go. And I think monk mode shouldn't be this thing you do for 1 month or 3 months. You know, I think Iman Gadzhi and these people are very smart. I don't believe in doing it for a few months and going on partying for a few months. I think, hey, if it's worth doing, why don't you just do it consistently and just go the fastest path to where you're trying to go in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, because it will make a massive, massive, massive difference. So if you do all of these things, I believe it allows you to create the fastest path from where you are at the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain, to that red flag, to that journey, to that vision that you have. So you don't take the long route to get to where you want to go. It avoids you from seeing sirens and getting attracted by them and spending time there and not being on your path and on your journey. If you apply all of these tools, I believe it's the fastest path from the bottom of the mountain to the top. And let me know in the comments below, what is the path that you're thinking of taking on? And if you want to be specific and vulnerable, please do that. I'd love to engage with you in the comments. I hope this serves you well and you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.